Hey, do you know about the USA? Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution? Hey, learn about the USA. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
I hope
Um,
everyone's doing terrible.
Whenever you may be, wherever you may be. Joining me from his secure location somewhere in the wilds of Washington State is Mr. Burt Reynolds.
I am in a nuclear safe bunker, just to be clear.
And I am DM Foss, and this is the overnight. Hope everyone is doing well. Um,
I apologize that I sound like one of Marge's sisters from The Simpsons.
oh, as long as you can tough it out, I think it'll be fine. Um, if it gets to be too much for you, just let me know, and I'll boot you.
Gotcha.
So tonight, I wanted to start off talking about the new gun owners, the ones that have kind of come in from the panic buying, from the cough cough, and the riots and all that. The ones that are more maybe left leaning, and there's been kind of pushback against them. Where I've heard from a few people that they don't want them around because they haven't been here supporting 2A. And I disagree with that position. I think we should try to invite them in and show them the wonders of 2A and why they should support it. Because um, I think the more people we have supporting the 2A, the better we are. And for those who have not supported the 2A and don't know why they should support the 2A, um, keeping them at arm's length isn't going to help.
It's very
It's
short sighted.
it's not going to change their mind. It may not change their mind, and it won't change some people's minds. No matter what you say or how you explain it to them, it won't change. But if we don't talk to them, there's a less likely chance, I think, that it'll change on their own because they'll have to have an epiphany. Um, but if there's somebody there to maybe help guide them or explain things to them, I think it's useful and
Yeah, I
helpful.
mean, Joe Biden and Obama are gun owners, but they have not they have disagreeing opinions, and we shouldn't throw people away from the 2A just because of the way they vote. We should invite them in and show them the errors of what they might think, but not in a derogatory way. That you don't change anyone's mind by insulting them.
And I'm not saying, to lie to anybody or to trick anybody to
No,
change their mind. Tell them the facts and show them the truth. And uh, and you know, we're not talking about changing our stance to meet them. We want them to change to meet us. And that just starts with basic conversation with them. Um, and it, I can understand the anger that some people have towards someone who has not supported the 2A and then now is, bought a gun, and so they want to keep them out. I understand the frustration with them, but that's not going to help. Um, if I think we can end up having um, a smaller group of gun owners if we do that, if we keep pushing people out, and then um, the only way to protect our rights is to lean on the courts, but then you're relying um, on the judges themselves, and we've seen before like the Supreme Court, it all depends on the judge. Some of them lean left, some of them lean right. There's ones that are perfectly fine with uh, putting restrictions on rights uh,
Yeah.
because they feel it's reasonable, and that's not in my opinion, it's not constitutional because shall not be infringed is not infringible. That makes sense.
I
So,
think that
go
also,
ahead.
if we were to get an AR-15 into the hands of, let's say, like everyone that owns a gun right now, if everyone owned an AR-15 also, they'd have skin in the game if they want to outlaw them. And if you showed them that the gun's just basically the same as any other hunting rifle that's semi-auto, it's not any more scary. Hopefully they'd change their mind or bring them closer to the way we see things, I guess.
Yeah, the AR-15. That's kind of
That's the scary rifle right now.
yeah, and it's the one of the biggest challenges gun owners have is the anti-gun people have a much better they have a much better PR machine.
Yep.
So anything negative that happens gets blown way out of proportion and becomes the total focus. So it makes it look like it's happening in every city, every day, and that's another reason to fight that is to have more support from gun owners.
You could have a mass shooting with a guy using a revolver, and when they first cover it, they'll have a picture of an AR-15 in the background.
Yeah, that unfortunately happens, and then there's no counterbalance to that. So, like Fox News gets touted as conservative news. It is because it makes money, and now that the kids own it, it's moving more center left. But we don't have that large what am I thinking? Mechanism to get the good word out. Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you.
Like what the NRA, what they think the NRA is, which it isn't. They actually have.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit of a separate issue, the NRA, because I don't want to get too far into the NRA.
Well, I meant the counterbalance.
Yeah, the NRA, when it began, was not a 2A rights organization. It was to teach how to shoot a rifle. Yeah. So, and then money and blah, 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 all that. I don't want to get bogged down into that on this chat. Maybe some other one. But, so how do we reach out? Or, should we reach out to the new gun owners? Is it too late for them?
Should. I think, if we give up now, it's over. And the least we can do is talk to people. That doesn't cost any money. It just costs time. Especially if it's a relative and they just bought a gun and you already own guns, you should just volunteer your time and help them understand how to use it, how to clean it, how to shoot it, how to take it apart, all this stuff. It's part of the fun. bringing new
That
people in.
I agree with that, and that's what the take a friend to the range thing that I was
That's
doing
difficult
until
now, though.
yeah, that's kind of been a halt because it's hard to find ammunition, and the range that I go to, I can't take guests right now until they um,
Lift restrictions.
yeah, I don't even know what phase or whatever. It's just a horrible mess. But just to show people, this is a gun. This is what it can do, and everybody has fun. Everybody that I've taken has fun, and it may not change their opinion right then, or make them crusaders for 2A, but maybe
It's a
I
step.
take I take them. They have fun. They see me as a gun owner, where I'm not, you know. And I hate to say tacticard because I don't want to make fun of, people that are more tactical. I am untactical, but I'm just an average schmo, and can show them I'm responsible. This is how to be responsible. You can have fun, and maybe when it comes time to vote for these laws, that they think about, well, it's not just murderers and thieves that have guns. It's average, everyday people that they know.
And you can use examples from your own state. It'll be different for everyone, but for like us in Washington State, people that wanted to legalize pot, you can ask them, how hard was it to get pot in Washington when it was illegal? You don't think
Well,
criminals will still be able to get these guns when we outlaw them?
yeah, and I mean, I've heard that like Nancy Pelosi admitted that gun laws won't change a thing.
Yep.
But she has to do something. So she's willing to pass these laws to make it, make a good show of it for her supporters. But it's not helping anything. It's not doing anything. I forget. I should have done some prep work or something like that. I don't know if I was professional.
For what?
But,
we're not live, are we? Are we doing a show?
But CCW holders, it's like almost zero.
Oh yeah, they're the most
Gun crime
law-abiding
committed.
people in the country.
Yeah.
Because the people that don't follow laws aren't going to get a license to carry. They're just going to carry.
Yeah. They're criminals, so they don't care about the law.
Yeah, if you're going to murder someone, do you care if your gun has a 16-inch barrel or a 10.5 and you have a stock on it? That they don't care.
Yeah, or, is it legal here? Is it legal there? Is it legal anywhere?
Oh yeah, Washington. We have so many things that are like, well, it might be illegal, so we're not going to ship it to you. You're like, but it's not. Well, we don't want your district attorney to sue us, even though it might be legal. There's so many things we can't get here.
Yeah, I haven't run into that too much just because I don't order guns. I've only ordered one, and that was because that was the only way to get it. But for the most part, I just go down and see what the gun shop has, or see if they can order it for me. That way I can pay cash too. I prefer to pay cash.
Well, I'll give you an example. 80% guns, like your 80% finished AR-15 lower.
Yeah.
That still needs to be milled out for the fire control group and the pins. Those, some companies will ship to Washington, some won't. Because the law says it's illegal to make one with the intent to sell it. But you can still make it if you don't intend to sell it. And since they cannot figure out your intent when they're selling it, some companies won't sell to you. And it's makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can see it from their standpoint,
They don't want to
covering
get
their
sued.
asses.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating because none of this really does anything. Doesn't stop anything, doesn't change anything. It just makes it harder for law-abiding people to purchase weapons, or
Yeah, there's I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but there's a guy that made an AR-15 out of spent cartridges. He melted them down and made a brass framed AR-15, or was it an AR-10? But all he needed was a mill.
probably the same guy that made a lower out of lucite.
Might be. I think it was guy has a channel named Farmcraft, I think. But I don't know if it was on that channel. He had a few channels. But it'd be worth checking out if it's still up there.
Yeah, I don't remember who made the clear one. I just happened to came up in the suggested feed one day. But yeah, we got off a little off track there.
Let's go back. You don't want to bash, what'd you call them, tactic tards? I'm going to go out on a limb and say they are worse for the Second Amendment than the new gun owners we have right now, that people are not wanting to help.
Yeah, I'll leave them alone for now. But so back to the new gun owners and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's been nice seeing, like last year, there's been a lot of people putting out how-to videos for new gun owners and stuff. I think that's good. Reaching out through YouTube.
Yeah, Yankee had some. Mac had some. Who else?
Guns and Barbecue. He's been doing some. I don't know if you know who he is or not.
I heard he doesn't like Palmetto State Armory.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of trouble with them, but yeah, that's between him and them.
Do you think they'll keep their guns? That's the big question. Because we were talking about it before the chat started, wondering if the economy goes down, people need money, what are they going to look to sell?
I don't think there'll be a huge glut of used guns. I think a lot of people that bought them, panic bought them, that didn't really want them but thought they should have them, will just stow them away somewhere, throw them in a drawer, throw them in a closet, and I think they'll sit there for a while.
I hope they do, because they're really going to lose their shirt when they try to sell these guns they bought for $900 when the gun's only worth $400.
Yeah. So I don't think there'll be that big glut of guns, and I don't think people who panic bought, I don't think they'll change their opinion on, if they didn't like guns, didn't think people should have guns. I don't think that'll change. They got it because they thought they needed it, but they still don't think everybody should have them. They're okay, or maybe the other guy they know is okay, but they don't think anybody else is okay to have them. And
yeah, I've even seen where they're mad that they even had to buy one. Does that make sense? They're mad that they live in a country to where they felt so scared they thought they needed a gun.
Yeah,
like Bill Maher. Bill Maher owns guns, but he only owns them because he's afraid of crazy people that own guns. If that makes sense. And that's him saying that. It's not me inferring it.
If you look at the statistics, it's not, that danger isn't there in the numbers. And
Yep.
of course, I don't have any numbers to show because I'm a lazy. But it's just all perception, and that's what we need to change is that perception, and that's one of the ways is to reach out to other people, and even reaching out to people that aren't gun owners, just people and I think that can be effective, help changing people's minds. Just talking with people. I've taken a couple people to the range where I was at work talking to somebody else. They walked by, and so I pointed at them, said, "Hey, do you want to go to the range?" And they were like, "Oh, sure." Take them to the range. They had a blast, and they see what it's about.
Yeah, it's always it's a little difficult to get them interested, but once they get bit by the bug, it's hard to stop them from wanting to shoot a gun. Like,
Yep.
oh, when are you going to the range next? Can I come?
Yeah.
I got a
So
cousin. Every single time he comes over to see me, he wants to go to the range. I'm like, you're paying for the ammo, right? I don't. I'm not made out of money.
that's kind of one of the stipulations I've had to start was the first range trip is on me, but if you want to go again, then you pick up the ammo.
Yeah, or you're just shooting 22 long rifle for 5 hours. I'm not, we're not doing 5.56. But yeah, what do people do right now? Is last year, I'd say that was the year of learning how to dry fire.
Yeah, it's a good exercise. I don't do enough of it, definitely.
Just
I do.
for any new gun owners that are watching this, do not dry fire rim fire guns. You will ruin
20,
your gun.
don't dry fire 22s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to dry fire more because I'll usually actually dry fire after the range. I'll come home, clean the guns, and then once they're clean, then I'll dry fire for a while I'm sitting there, which it's not effective training. I know, but
It's better than nothing.
yeah, and I've got one of the laser systems, which works pretty good. I've got a review on it in my videos, so check it out. The iTarget. So it lets you see where you're hitting, and it'll log, so you can go back and then it's got a few different modes. One's just the target, and it shows you where it hits and your scores and stuff. And I forget what else all it does. They're a little bit spendy. I think it was $100, something like that.
But compared to ammo right now,
definitely now. And
there's some guns though where it's not effective. Like if you have a shotgun, there's no reason to dry fire it. You're not going to learn anything because it doesn't prepare you for shooting it. Because most shotguns don't really have sights; they have a bead, and you're not going to. The main thing with a shotgun is the recoil. You need to get used to it, and dry firing. It's not going to help you get rid of a flinch on a shotgun, in my opinion. It mainly helps with handguns, in my experience. Trying to make sure you don't jerk the trigger. But when you have 3 points of contact on a shotgun, you're probably not going to jerk the trigger very much. Dry firing, I don't think you learn much. Maybe that's just me.
Well, I don't know because I've never shot a shotgun. So
we did mention that in the last episode.
I'll take your word for it.
And we did look at the prices. seeing if we could get you one. And they are insane. The prices for shotguns right now are astronomical. And maybe it's different in the gun store, but on Gun Broker and Arms List, it's insane. 590 A1s are selling for $1,500 starting bid.
So kind of, I can do this. G-Bud was kind of bringing up, how much time do you spend reaching out? And, offer to take somebody to the range or talk to them or answer questions, but, you're not giving seminars unless that's what, if you feel the calling to give seminars to new gun owners or anti-gun people. But just, bring it up, talk to them in normal conversation. So if somebody and you see them and it comes up, and then talk to them. But you don't have to, email them every day or send them letters every day.
Yeah.
But
it all depends on how good you know them. How do you know them? Like, I'd put more time into a family member, even a distant relative, personally, than I would, let's say, a classmate or a coworker.
But yeah, I think you're looking to plant that seed.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll grow. And, you're not adopting them and then turning them into 2A. You're just...
yeah, we don't want to brainwash them.
Yeah, just kind of pointing them in the right direction, and hopefully get them going that way. So another thing that I wanted to talk about was the gun rallies, 2A rights rallies. There was just one that happened in Arizona, which I think is a good model for the direction they should go.
I have not heard about this yet.
Yep. G-Webs went, and Mr. Big Kid had some video from it. But it was more like a fair atmosphere. They had vendors and food, and looked like, maybe some games or something like that. And I think that's more the direction they should go, where they're more inviting to more people. So, it's more of a family atmosphere. And then there's also 2A speeches, people talking about important subjects and like that.
Hopefully they just kept it to the 2A.
But I think the rallies need to happen, but honestly, I think they're ineffective because there's not enough people that go to most of them. When there's other rallies that happen for other stuff that I think is stupid, innocuous things, and you've got 2 to 3 times as many people showing up for those rallies than for the gun rallies, are they going to take us serious?
It does help when they let out school for the day, and then the entire county's population of school kids goes to the Capitol.
Yeah. And then there's, the boogeyman Bloomberg, but
Yep.
He will bust people in. He's got organizations that bust people in for rallies, and stuff that we don't have the organization to spend that money that he does. But it's your rights,
You hear that, Clint Eastwood? You need to pay to give me a bus ticket. Where's the Republican version of Bloomberg? Or even the libertarian version.
Yeah, and the a large rally won't change the world, but it can help change perception. Um, we're you know we're trying to show that we care about our rights, but if nobody shows up, nobody thinks we care about our rights. And I'm saying we because we're all in it together.
Yep.
It's not just one person. If we lose the 2A, which it's a little hyperbolic, I know, but just to make the point, if we lose the 2A, everybody loses the 2A, not just this guy or that guy. I lose it, you lose it, G-Webs loses it. So I consider we're all in it together.
It's a death by 1,000 cuts too. It's like if they wanted to outlaw 4-cylinder gasoline engines, then you're like, well, I have a V6, so what do I care? They're coming for V6s next. And then pretty soon it'll just be you can't own a car unless it's electric.
Yeah. And with the like the DC rally, I there was an incredible number that showed up, but I think optically there were problems. Basically, they put up a big cage and told everybody these people are dangerous. They can only be in this cage if they want to be here.
This is the one that Honda went to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The big one and see, and that's what everybody sees. That's what you see in the news. That's what you see in the paper, where it kind of makes it seem like these are dangerous people that you can't have this many together unless you fence them in. And I don't, I'm not calling it a failure. Definitely not calling it a failure, but I don't think they're working the way they are, the rallies. And I don't really have an answer. That's why when I saw how Arizona did it, I thought that was a good step.
I think the only way to fix this is to get more people voting pro 2A. And the only way to do that is to reach out to new gun owners, because there are people that own guns that vote for anti-gun laws. Now, let's say G-Labs was saying, how much time should we put into new gun owners? If every single gun owner at least somewhat changed the mind of one of these new gun owners and got them to at least not vote for these bad laws, we could actually get some stuff done. If they're not actively working against us, that would make a huge difference.
That's what I think, and that's part of the reaching out to other people part that helps. And even within the 2A, there's people that don't fully support the Second Amendment. I've had debates with, I had a debate with somebody who said they didn't believe in infringements and then explained what infringements he thought there should be. And it didn't matter how many times I explained to him how, outlawing this gun or that gun is an infringement. He swore up and down he does not believe in infringements. So, not even every gun owner believes in no infringement. So we're not going to change everybody's mind, but I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't have many answers.
No, but talking about it, that's a good first step. Got to figure out what we're doing.
I think so. I hope so, and I hope I'm making sense and not just being all rambly.
Yeah, we can't keep doing the same thing we've been doing. It's not working.
I don't think it's working as effectively as it could be, but I don't know how to make it more effective.
Yeah. Wish I was smarter. I could answer all the questions. Gee Webs, I'm sorry I do not have all the answers. I've let you down.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Sorry, we're not gonna solve all the world's problems, but
We can get people thinking about what we can do. Ask the right questions.
hopefully, be asking the right questions.
Get people thinking about it. Now,
But
for example, we seem to be winning court cases. Like it looks like the magazine ban in California is going to go away. The
and
10-round magazine ban, and that's going to affect the entire ninth. What is it? Ninth Circuit.
Yeah, the Ninth Circuit, and
and that's California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho.
That was something
Hawaii.
that I mentioned in the last chat, where when Washington, when they were discussing doing a 10-round mag limit, where they brought up that the Ninth Circuit Court was going to, had tossed out that mag ban or the mag limit in California.
Yeah.
And then so they were trying to find another limit that would be acceptable. So it already is having an effect. And then once it's official, I think that's, will have an incredible effect where they will still try to pass these, because there's no consequence for a senator or a congressman, whether state or federal, to propose these laws or to help get them passed. If they're unconstitutional, they get passed and they get tossed out. There's no real consequence for them. They're probably not going to get voted out because their constituents believe in what they're doing. They voted for them, and so they can keep doing it, and that's what some of the laws are passed knowing that they're unconstitutional, and then they basically say, well, do something about it. It's the law of the land until it's changed.
Yeah, they can bleed us dry, make us fight for our rights, use all of our money. Like, how much money have we dumped into Washington State fighting 1639? It's a bunch of money.
And then when the state fights it, they've got,
yeah, they're using our own money against us. They're taxing us to fight us with unconstitutional laws that we have to pay for twice to get it. This is like when you get divorced and you have to pay for your wife's lawyer to sue you.
I wouldn't know. Hopefully we'll never know.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe you should have to have, how you have to have like a senator sponsor a bill to get it heard sometimes?
Yeah.
Maybe you should have to have a Supreme Court justice sponsor a bill. I don't know.
Well, there
then
might
you just
be
have
problems.
Somebody signing off on everything.
There might be some conflicts there with the separation of the branches. I don't know. But I understand where you're getting at. So I would ask for, I don't know how many people are out there watching or listening. Am I completely off base with the rally thing? Is there a better way, or do we need to do what we're doing, just do it better?
I really have no idea. I mean, I was going to use another example, but it's kind of controversial. Let's just say if there was a certain bill that wanted to give a certain right to a certain group, there would be a humongous turnout in support of that group. And it wouldn't just be the people that are directly affected. It would be like the people's friends and the people's family and the people's coworkers. When gun rights are affected, it's usually only gun owners that go to these rallies in support of it. Like, does your family go? Do your friends go? Your coworkers going to support your right? I don't see that happening very much. It's just us. It's kind of lonely. I think we need to I don't know if we need to ask for help, but it'd be nice if we had some.
Yeah, but who do you ask?
I guess the first step would be dragging your family there. If every gun owner has let's say they got a wife and 2, 3 kids, right? And we had 100 people there, gun owners. We just made it 500. Because
Yeah.
anti-gunners will bring their family. They'll bring their kids. They'll put them in shirts that say AR-15s are the scourge of America. There's no reason to have one. I'm not saying we should use them as propaganda, but it'd be nice if they showed support. Solidarity. I don't know what to call it. I don't think there's a good answer for this problem.
Well, like I said, I think they need to happen. I'm not saying that they're crap and they need to go away. They need to happen. I don't think they're as effective as they could be.
And it might just be our area. G-Webs is out in the chat and he's saying, I think his experience is different than what we experience here in Washington. But that could just be me.
It could be because he's been in this game a lot longer than I have been. He's been to a lot more rallies than I have been. So, I may be just coming at this from an acute view because this is, I'm going off by what I've seen,
Yeah, personal experience.
Yeah. And I'm trying to approach this logically where, to think about it, and not just, rant and rave based on feelings.
Yeah, you're supposed to be turning red and sweating, yelling into the microphone.
They took your job. Yeah, was there any other topics that you wanted to cover?
Well, I'm kind of bummed because, to be honest, I mentioned it in the last episode, I was planning on building a 6.5 Grendel rifle and can't find any parts anywhere there. And if you do, it's insane prices. Even when you're building it, the barrels, the bolts, the uppers, everything's crazy.
Yeah, there'll be stuff that'll pop up where it's it's a little bit inflated on the price, but not too bad. But if you don't see it when it pops up, they're gone.
Yep.
They don't last very long.
No, they do not. And I thought it was a real good time to build something, some new caliber that people aren't into yet. But man, they're grabbing up everything. I guess that's good for the gun companies, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gave you a dream and then
Yeah,
life took it away.
it's quite a cool caliber. If people don't know what it is, there's a military arms channel. You might have heard of him. He's got a pretty good video talking about how 6.5 Grendel compares to 5.56, and it's a pretty potent little round. I'd say it's a good in between a 5.56 and a 308, but you still have it in a AR-15, and you're
Yeah,
not
I
losing too
wouldn't.
many rounds. You're losing about 4 or 5 rounds in the same size of 30 round mag.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
It's been around for a little while. I forgot what year it came out. Um,
sometime in the 2000s.
yeah, it's not. I don't know if you would call it a niche caliber. Um, it's it's out there and is popular with people it's popular with, but it's not. It's not 30-06 or 308 or you know, anything like that.
What drew
So
me
I
to
don't.
it was the long range potential and the fact that Wolf was making cheap steel cased ammo for it, so you could actually get 20 rounds for under $5 before all this started.
Yeah, that's kind of why I went with it. Partly because it was something different, you know, and then because out when you get past 300 yards, then it starts to equal a 308.
Yeah, when you get out to 1,000, it's better than 30-06, which
Yeah,
sounds
the
insane, but
the coefficient on the round is really good.
yeah, and it really makes a because you can get out to 1,000 yards with an AR-15 in 5.56, but it's a question of how potent the round is at that point. And with 6.5 Grendel, the thing's still supersonic, and it's still got more muzzle energy, or not muzzle. It's got more foot pounds of energy at 1,000 yards than most handguns have at their muzzle. So it's still very potent at long ranges.
Yeah, I will probably never shoot that far, but I just thought it was kind of something neat to have that could do that.
And that could be a downside depending on how you look at it. If you have one of these rounds go over a berm, you're shooting at 100 yards and it goes over the berm, that thing's going to keep going.
Yeah, yeah, and then you know, practically speaking, there's nowhere I have that much distance um, where I live.
Yeah, you'd
Yeah,
need to go to Eastern Washington to get the 1,000 yard range. Usually, there might be some up north. I don't
like
know if they go to
stretches
a
of I
thousand.
5 maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, and shotguns. I'd love to. I can't because we live in Washington. I can't just like let you borrow a shotgun, but it'd be fun to let you use one.
I will at some point, someday, somewhere, somehow. Um, just don't know when.
Yeah, I'd check your local, see if they got any good old 870s. I would not buy a new one till they start revamping their process. But
Yeah, right now they're though pretty much everything that the gun shop that I go to, everything they have are the Turkish guns. That's because that's all they can get.
there's so many of them too.
Yeah, but kind of right now, I think that's the ammunition you can still get is shotgun. But I've heard that's even starting to get scarce.
Yeah, there's I know a couple people that are melting down birdshot into slugs. So they'll buy a bunch of Winchester target loads, open them up, pour out the shot, melt it down, make a slug, pop it back in. And it works. It's going to take a long time, but if you can't find the ammo, it's better than nothing.
Yeah,
And
that and there's
videos on making wax slugs. Those are pretty
That's-
cool.
that's what I was gonna say. There seems to be a bunch of videos come out lately about doing wax slugs.
Oh yeah, and they're not as effective, but they're better. What's the word? They're more efficient because when you when you take all the birdshot out of a shotgun shell, you melt it down, you make buckshot. Because of the size of the shot, you're not going to get as much lead back into the case with the bigger buckshot rounds. You won't be able to fit in the same weight of lead. So then you won't have the same pressure curve on the powder, and it won't burn 100%. So you'll actually have bigger fireball come out the front, and it'll be less effective than it usually would if you had regular buckshot loads. And by doing a wax slug round, you're using all of the lead, so you have a more effective burn because you're not taking any of the birdshot out. You're just adding wax into the the crevices, whatever you call it.
Filling in the gaps.
Yeah, and there's lots of videos out there on making them. Just use common sense. Try not to blow yourself up. If you don't think you know what you're doing, maybe don't do it at all.
It's always sound advice.
Yeah. That's a good thing. We can't find a shotgun for a reasonable price. You can't find a rifle for a reasonable price. You can't find a handgun for a reasonable price. Used guns are all gone. Ammo's all gone. If somebody's trying to get into the game, the title of the chat is, "Did you miss the 2A train?" What does somebody get right now? Do we tell them to go get like a blunderbuss? I don't, what does a person do right now?
That's tough. The most cost effective used market, it's still going to be overpriced, but it'll be cheaper than a new gun.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that would be cost effective and you wouldn't get taken advantage of usually. You're not going to buy if you find a good deal on a gun right now, you might be wondering what's wrong with it. If you know somebody that owns guns, see if they want to sell any. And of course, follow your local laws and regulations, but like if somebody asked me, "Hey, where should I get a gun these days?" Well, I might be in the market for selling a shotgun, but you'll never know unless you ask me.
Yeah, and normally it never hurts to ask.
Yeah. And even if they say no, they can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, they might know somebody else that's looking to move something.
Yeah. And I know I joked about a blunderbuss, but how that might be the best deal you could get right now. You just buy some shot and some powder and a flint, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, and if it's black powder, just about shove anything down the barrel to shoot.
You can literally shoot rocks out of one of those things.
If it fits, it ships.
Yep. But yeah. Question is, what brands do you trust for something like that? Like you got a Pieta and Uberti and Pedersoli. Bunch of Italian importers. But I used to tell people to go to Cabela's because they had a lot of black powder guns. I used to go down to Cabela's when I'd buy revolvers, and they seemed to be sold out of everything. But you just went down there. Did they seem to have anything in stock?
No.
Man,
The gun cases were, pretty much empty. I don't remember if or what they had hanging on the wall. They even have removed 2/3 of the shelving where they keep the ammo normally. And when it comes in, it's in a kind of a cubby off to the side, and then you line up to get, 5 boxes maximum.
well,
So
I don't know. There's only really one way to fix this, and it's for people that don't need stuff to stop buying stuff they don't need.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No. Yeah, I could see this happening for the next few years, unfortunately. And it might depend on your area. Like, I don't know if, I don't know.
Yeah, there seems to be certain pockets around the country where there's magic ammo elves that people can get whatever they want whenever they want. I don't know how it happens.
You need a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers, and then you get free ammo shipped to your door.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Federal, we're open to negotiations. But
He's willing to whore for anybody.
yeah, I wonder, like we're in Washington and we're connected to Canada, as people may know. I wonder how the ammo shortage is doing in Canada, because they do have guns and they do have gun stores. Are they
It's
out
not.
of ammo?
I don't believe it's hit them like it has here. When I was trying to find primers, the two places that would always have primers in stock was Canada and Australia.
And if I remember correctly, it's illegal to buy ammo from another country. Am I wrong? Unless you're an
Yeah,
importer.
because you need an import license.
Good old laws.
Yeah.
I was looking for brass shotgun holes, and the only place they had them was Australia, and they're like, they do not ship outside of Australia. And I was wondering, is this our law or their law?
I don't know, for holes.
Yeah, it was just
I
the
wouldn't-
brass hole.
But I don't know, because, they've got goofy laws about importing parts, foreign parts. So who knows
Yeah,
if it's them or us.
Those assault shotgun brass holes are really dangerous. They can take out twice as many birds.
Yeah. So I don't know if we've answered any questions or just caused more problems, but
Either one's good with me.
just want to thank everybody who was able to be up at this god awful hour to tune in, and anybody that sees us in replay. Go ahead and leave a comment if you have questions or have comments on anything we talked about. Stuff that I didn't think about, or give me something to think about. And
Yeah, so we do read the comments.
I do, and I try and respond to all the comments, because normally there's not that many on my videos.
That's a challenge, folks.
So, if you see this in replay and you have a thought or a comment, go ahead and leave a comment. and hit that like, hit that subscribe. And if I said something that you think I'm way off base, go ahead and hit that like. Show me what's for. But I just again want to thank everybody, and thank you, Mr. Robert Reynolds, for
Thank you
showing
for
up
the invite.
and making this easier for me. And I'm still learning how to do this, so it's still a little rough around the edges, a lot rough around the edges. And I think I might go to twice a month instead of the once a month I was going to do, just because it's hard to wait a month. Because this is fun to do. It's a little bit addictive.
Yeah. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's we try to get practice at doing it. You kind of lose your step if you're only doing it once a month. Get twice as much practice doing it twice.
Yep, and I can use the extra steps.
Yep.
So everybody, please have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good night, whichever applies to you. And hopefully see you next time.
Thanks for listening.